Daughter, I know that today the weight on your thoughts seems greater than your strength can bear. You have come here desperately seeking me to renew your mind and break, once and for all, the chains of this world's influence that try to suffocate you every second. I tell you now, you did not click here by mere chance or by some algorithm. It was my spirit that led you to this meeting arranged in silence. Why is it that, even when you try to rest, your heart continues to race and your mind seems like a battlefield where the voices of anxiety scream much louder than my peace? There is a profound secret that most people ignore about how to silence the external chaos to hear my whisper, and today, on this sacred journey, I will reveal to you how to regain control over what you think and feel. I have seen so many of my daughters, just like you, lost in labyrinths of worries and fears, but who found their way back to the light when they allowed my truth, described in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, to penetrate the deepest layers of their souls. I will lead you on a path of total restoration, where every lie the world has planted in you, every pattern of suffering, and every cruel expectation will be uprooted. If the touch of my voice is reaching your innermost being now, feel my embrace and leave a comment here with your name, the country and city you are listening to me from, and the exact time on your clock right now. I want you to know that I am present every second of your time, and now, like a cry born from a soul that longs to be filled and cared for, write with all your faith, Lord my God, I am here. I signed up because I love you and want to hear you. I see when you lay your head on the pillow and instead of the restorative sleep I promised, what comes is a tiring film of everything that went wrong or everything that could fail tomorrow. I saw the trembling in your hands earlier today as you tried to organize your tasks, feeling that the world demands a perfection and speed from you that you cannot and should not give. The world is too noisy, my daughter. It pours heavy news upon you, cruel comparisons on glass screens, and a weariness that is no longer of your body, but of your spirit. You sometimes feel as if the sky were made of bronze, and your prayers hit the ceiling and bounce back to the ground, but I am here, in this sacred silence that now unites us. I want you to stay with me until the last second of this message, for I have kept a clear and crystalline answer for your dilemma. At the end of this video, I will whisper a powerful phrase to your heart, a spiritual key that was mentioned at the beginning, and that will serve as your shield against the darts of this world. Those who remain and listen to the end will receive prophetic blessings that I have already released for those who choose to believe and wait on me. You think the problem is only what is happening outside of you, in circumstances and in people, but I will show you that the great and true change begins in the secret place where no one else can see, only me. If this word has begun to untie the knots in your heart, leave your sign of gratitude by enjoying this moment, and consider subscribing so that my voice may be a constant in your days. Share this encouragement with that soul you know who also doesn't sleep because of the noise of the world. Tell me one thing, deep in your soul, what has been stealing your sleep in recent nights? Write in the comments your word of surrender today. Rest. But I haven't yet shown you everything the noise of the world has stolen from you. There's still a veil I wish to lift from your eyes right now. You walk surrounded by voices that are not mine. The world screams that you must have more, be more, appear more, and in this frantic race, your spirit becomes a barren land, thirsting for a drop of peace that screens and empty conversations cannot offer. I see the deep weariness in your eyes when the blue light of your cell phone is the only thing illuminating your room at 2 in the morning. You seek a sign, a relief, but the cold glow of the screen only gives you more comparison, more noise, and an emptiness that seems to tighten your chest in a way that no one else notices. I was there when you stood before the kitchen sink today, your hands submerged in water and your gaze lost on the window, and suddenly the silence of that house seemed too heavy, as if the walls were whispering that your effort is invisible. It was at that exact moment, in that afternoon emptiness, that doubt tried to take hold, whispering that you were alone and that your sacrifices were not being noticed by anyone. But know, my daughter, that the noise of the world can only hurt you when you forget where my voice dwells. The world tries to convince you that my presence manifests itself only in grand spectacles, in noisy conquests, or in crowds. But I call you to the place where the noise fades and the soul finally rests. It is in the whisper, in the breeze that touches your face when you close your eyes, that I reveal myself completely. For it is written in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, "And after the earthquake a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire, and after the fire a still, small voice." It is this still voice that descends upon your mind today to break the influence of everything that distracts you from your purpose. I am cleansing your spiritual ears so that you can distinguish what comes from my mouth and what is merely the clamor of a generation that doesn't know where it's going. You no longer need to try to fit into molds that I never designed for you. I created you to be free, and that freedom begins when you decide that my opinion of who you are is the only one that truly matters. If you feel that this sacred silence is what your soul needs most right now, leave your sign of gratitude by enjoying this moment and invite someone else to hear this whisper by sharing this message. And tell me, with all sincerity, from the depths of your intimacy with me, what voice has been shouting loudest within you lately that you want to silence today? Write in the comments your word of surrender for this moment. Silence. But I haven't yet shown you everything I have prepared for you. There's something your heart hasn't dared to imagine yet, a seed that is about to sprout in the middle of your desert. Daughter, the silence we now cultivate within you is not just emptiness, but the fertile ground where I wish to plant the greatest promises for your new life. When you decide to silence the world, you open space for my generosity to flow through you and to you. There is a sacred beauty in the act of responding to love with gratitude, transforming what you have received into something that blesses other hearts. If you feel within yourself that this word is the nourishment your soul has been seeking, and if it is possible for you, only if it is possible, transform this feeling into a seed of love through this channel. I ask that you consider my love and that of my son Jesus and contribute through the link I left in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. There, you will find the place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before me, the Creator of all things. You can donate any amount, whatever your heart feels you should. If you want a different amount, simply type the desired amount. Remember, what matters to me is the sincerity of your gesture, not the number itself. What is little for you may be much for the one who receives it. I receive each offering with immense love. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, please remember to include your name and city with your contribution. On the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel, Divine Love, the Voice of God, your name will be remembered, mentioned in gratitude, and covered with divine blessings released in prayer. For it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 7, "Each one should give what he has decided in his heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Every offering made in faith is a seed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to bear fruit. I watch in secret and reward in the sight of all." I know that sometimes the world has made you believe that nothing you've done has value. But here, in my kingdom, every drop of love is an ocean of healing. Therefore, rest your heart in my providence and continue this journey of light. Stay until the end of this message, because I still want to touch your heart with my beloved voice. At this very moment, as my voice travels through the deepest corridors of your soul, I begin to pour clean water upon your densest and most weary thoughts. You know those memories you keep locked in a dark vault, those that make you feel an unbearable weight whenever the sun sets and the silence of the house deepens. I see them all. I see the moment you look in the mirror and, instead of seeing my masterpiece, you see only the marks of the mistakes you made, or worse, the wounds that others inflicted on you and that you still carry as if they were your own. I am here to wash away these distorted images and give you back the vision I have of you. I remember well that cold dawn a few weeks ago when you sat on the edge of the bed, your feet touching the icy floor and your heart heavy, feeling that your past was a shadow that would never let you walk in peace. You felt a chill that didn't come from the wind outside, but from a cruel thought whispering in your ear, "It's too late for you." But I tell you, my daughter, for the Creator of time, it's never too late. I am, right now, erasing the records of fear and guilt that the world has written on your mind with the ink of pain. The enemy of your soul tries to use your memory as a merciless tribunal where he assumes the role of accuser, and you always remain in the defendant's seat. But I, your judge and above all your father, have already torn up this process with the blood of my son. I want you to understand once and for all that what happened 10, 20, or 30 years ago has no power to define what I will do in your life tomorrow. The world wants you to carry the weight of bitter regret, but I bring you to the lightness of my grace. For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth, shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I am opening those rivers right now within your mind. Let my truth wash away the idea that you are unworthy, that you are a burden to those around you, or that your usefulness has ended with the passing of years. You are precious in every phase of your existence. The remaining sparkle in your eyes does not come from the absence of struggles, but from my light that insists on shining through you. I am renewing your capacity to dream, removing every cobweb of bitterness that tried to bind your spirit. Do you feel that freshness now? It is my hand touching your forehead, calming the storm of thoughts that tell you the worst is yet to come. The worst is behind you. What comes next is the building of something new upon the unshakable rock of my word. If you feel that my truth is expelling the lies from your mind today, like this message to confirm that you receive this heavenly cleansing. Subscribe to this channel if you want me to continue washing your soul day after day. Share this message with that person you know who lives imprisoned in yesterday. And tell me here, with the courage of one who decides to be free today. What thought from your past do you surrender to me now so that I will never again let you remember it with pain? Write in the comments your word of liberation. Renewal. But listen carefully. The total healing of your mind still has a secret that I have hidden to reveal to you next, something that will change the way you face each dawn and how you prepare for the early mornings. My beloved, this freshness you feel now in your mind is only the beginning of a journey I wish to walk with you, step by step, every day. I know the world outside will continue to be noisy, and that as soon as this message ends, the pressures will try again to occupy the space that is now mine. Therefore, I don't want this meeting of ours to be an isolated moment, but the beginning of a constancy that will protect your heart from the anxiety and confusion that surround you. If your heart desires to go deeper into my presence and my intimacy, I have left you a gift in the form of a journey, which I wrote with much love and care for all my beloved daughters and sons, the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was prepared to be your daily remedy and to accompany you day after day in silence and closeness, being your safe companion in the early mornings of searching and in your moments of greatest need. Access to this precious material is also available in the link in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. And, my daughter, listen well. If today is not possible for you, do not condemn yourself for it. Remain with me here now, because I will also sustain and strengthen you through this prophetic message that is not yet finished, and so that your heart may rest and you may not be confused by technical concerns. Immediately after you register, access will arrive directly at the email address you registered, containing all the correct instructions, explained step by step, so that you can begin your daily reading and meditation with total ease and peace. For it is written, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light for my path." Psalm 119:15. I want to be that light that illuminates every decision you make, every thought that arises upon waking and every sigh before sleeping. Do not fear external voices, for my word is the shield that protects your sanity, your mental clarity, and your inner peace. Breathe deeply now, feel my presence tenderly enveloping you, and continue this journey with me, because what I have to reveal to you next about how to break the cycles of anxiety of this generation will change the weight you carry on your shoulders. Stay with me, for I am faithful and I am here by your side. I see how this generation's world has tried to accelerate your heart until it lost the rhythm of my peace. You live in a time where haste is imposed as a law, and where concern for tomorrow is sold as prudence, but in truth, it is only a noose that tightens your spirit. I look at you and see how exhausted you feel, trying to keep up with a pace I never asked you to follow. You feel pressured to always be available, always informed, always ready. while your soul cries out for a moment of quiet that this world no longer knows how to offer. I was there today, at that moment when your phone vibrated on the table and, for a second, you felt a tightness in your chest, a desire not to answer, not to look, to simply disappear to a place where no one would ask anything of you. I saw you take a deep breath in the living room, looking at the walls and feeling that, despite all the movement around you, there was a noisy loneliness trying to convince you that you are falling behind. This anxiety, my daughter, is not rightfully yours. It is the result of an earthly influence that tries to disconnect you from my eternity, to trap you in the fear of the next minute. This world wants you to live in the what if. What if the money doesn't stretch? What if the illness returns? What if my children go astray? But I call you back to the I am. I am your sustenance today, just as I was yesterday and will be tomorrow. I want to break these cycles of repetitive thoughts that make you spin in circles, wasting your energy on battles that I have already won for you. You don't need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, for my shoulders are broad enough to bear all that afflicts you. For it is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 7, casting all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. I want you to do this exercise of casting right now. Feel the weight lifting from your shoulders, as if you were removing an iron burden that prevented you from walking lightly. I take care of every detail that you think is out of your control. I take care of that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. I take care of the exam that worries you. I take care of the emptiness that someone's absence left on your couch. Nothing escapes my fatherly gaze. If you feel your heart beginning to slow down and find my rest, leave a like as a sign that you accept my calm. Consider subscribing if you want my voice to continue being your anchor amidst the turbulent sea of this world. Share this message with someone you know who lives with a soul breathless with anxiety. Tell me here in the silence that now unites us, what is the worry that has most tried to steal your peace this week? Write in the comments your word of liberation for this generation, freedom. But I haven't finished rebuilding your vision yet. There's a new way to see your own life that I'm going to teach you now, something that your wounds still prevent you from seeing. You have been looking at your life through the blurred lenses of your wounds, and that's why everything around you seems gray and purposeless. The world has taught you to interpret every event through the shadow of what you lacked or who abandoned you. But I am here to give you a new pair of eyes. I saw when you stopped in front of the mirror earlier today, and for a brief second, couldn't smile at yourself. I saw your gaze lost in the lines of your face, searching for a version of yourself that you believe was lost along the path of disappointments. You see marks of weariness and the remnants of unfulfilled dreams. I, however, see the map of a warrior who, even wounded, never stopped seeking my presence. I want you to understand that your mind functions as a filter. If your filter is tainted with the bitter words thrown at you in your youth, or with the feeling of invisibility that time tried to impose on you, all the beauty that I place before you will go unnoticed. Sometimes you feel that weight in your chest when you see others achieving what you desired, and your mind immediately whispers that your time has passed. This is a lie whispered by the spirit of this world that values only what is fleeting. I call you to see the eternity that dwells in every small gesture of faith you manifest. I was there that late afternoon, when the sunlight shone through your living room window, and you felt an inexplicable tightness, a longing for something you couldn't even describe. It was your soul asking to be seen by me, without the masks you wear to survive out there. You often feel like a piece that no longer fits into what society expects of a woman your age, but know that, in my kingdom, you are the center of a plan that is still unfolding. I haven't finished writing your story, and the chapter I am preparing now requires you to abandon the limited vision of your pain. For it is written in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Renewing the spirit of your mind is not merely changing one positive thought for another. It is allowing my Holy Spirit to dwell in the place where your interpretations of reality are born. It is looking at your empty kitchen and, instead of seeing loneliness, seeing an altar of worship. It is looking at your financial challenges and, instead of seeing defeat, seeing an opportunity for my providence to manifest in ways you never imagined. I am removing the scales that suffering has placed on your eyes, so that you may contemplate the beauty of life from my perspective of love and victory. If you feel that your vision is being transformed now, leave your sign of gratitude by enjoying this moment, and consider subscribing so that my light may continue to guide your gaze. Share this message with a friend who you know can only see her own wounds lately. Tell me, with the sincerity of someone who longs to see heaven, what is the most beautiful thing you were able to see today, despite all your struggles? Write in the comments your word for visual transformation, vision. But listen to what I tell you. There is a shelter I built for your thoughts, a place where the lies of others can never reach you, and I will take you inside it now. Daughter, I was present every time the world tried to diminish you with words that never came from my mouth. I heard when that unfair criticism echoed in the room and made your chest clench, making you feel small, insufficient, or out of place. The world is an expert at attaching labels that don't belong to you and dictating sentences about your future based only on what they can see on the outside. But I, who probe the depths of your spirit, know the truth that no one else dared to validate. I saw the glint in your tears when you had to swallow your sobs to avoid giving reason to those who hurt you. I was there when you sat on that wooden bench, feeling the weight of others' judgment as if it were a heavy chain on your shoulders. There were times when you believed those harsh voices were my voice, but today I come to tell you that my tone with you is always one of love, restoration, and protection. I am your safe haven against the lies that have tried to take root in your mind. Many times, people use your past failures to try to predict your failure tomorrow. They point to what you haven't achieved and ignore all that you have silently endured. But I hide you within my tabernacle, in a place where the poison of tongues cannot touch you. Within me, you are untouchable. You don't need to waste your energy trying to prove your worth to those who have no eyes to see my light in you. Your identity is sealed on my throne, and not in the unstable opinions of those who surround you. For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, says the Lord." Do you understand the power of this promise? The righteousness that defends you does not depend on your eloquence or your strength. It comes directly from me. I am your advocate in the court of offenses and your rock in stormy days. When the voices of the world rise up to say that you are incapable or that your time to be happy has passed, go into your room, close the door, and listen to my silence. It is in this silence that I rebuild your emotional armor and remind you that you are my heir, chosen and guarded by a power the world cannot even imagine. If you feel that my embrace is protecting you from evil voices today, leave your like as an act of faith and consider subscribing so that my voice may be your only compass. Share this encouragement with that person you know is being persecuted by harsh words. Tell me here with the confidence of one who has a faithful defender, what is the lie that the world has told you that you decide to expel from your life right now? Write your word of protection in the comments, fortress, but there is still a horizon I wish to show you. The destiny of peace I have prepared for your renewed mind is much closer than you imagine, and I will reveal the next step on that path to you now. My daughter, what I see for your tomorrow is not a repetition of your bitter yesterdays, but a territory of peace that your mind, now renewed, is finally ready to inhabit. The world has tried to convince you that your future would be merely an echo of your losses, a slow descent into oblivion, or a succession of lackluster days. But I tell you that my plans for you are not subject to the weariness of your years or the crises of this world. I am drawing a horizon where your mind will no longer be a prison of worries, but a garden where my voice will be your only guide. I saw when you ran your hand over that old photograph on the shelf earlier today, comparing the tired-eyed woman of that time with the soul that now begins to breathe again under my care. You felt that knot loosening in your throat, the one that previously prevented you from saying a prayer without being interrupted by tears. That physical relief, that deep sigh you gave while looking at the emptiness of the room, is a sign that the world's influence is losing its hold on your nerves and your nights. You are beginning to learn that peace is not the absence of problems, but the constant presence of my hand upon your thoughts. The world wants to trap you in fear of what's to come, but I have already walked through all your tomorrows and left provisions of grace at every turn in the road. You no longer need to devise survival plans for next month or next year, because your destiny of peace is sealed in my infallible character. I am preparing encounters, doors that open effortlessly, and above all, a mental clarity that will allow you to enjoy every small joy without the weight of guilt or doubt. For it is written in the book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This hopeful future is not a vague desire of your carnal mind, but the living hope that I myself planted in your spirit. I am restoring to you the ability to look ahead with a smile, without that sudden fear that something bad will happen at any moment. Your mind, freed from the shackles of the world, will begin to identify my blessings hidden in the details, in the hot coffee, in the silence that now brings you comfort, and in the certainty that you are cared for by someone who never sleeps. If you can feel this divine hope illuminating your tomorrow right now, like this message as a seal that you accept my future, subscribe if you wish me to guide you daily along these paths of peace. Share this word with that soul that can only see shadows when it looks ahead. Tell me, in the secret of your heart that now rests with me, if today you could see what I see for your future, what fear would you leave behind right now? Write in the comments your word of revelation about tomorrow, hope. But there is still an awakening that your spirit needs to experience, a level of consciousness where my presence becomes as real as the air you breathe, and I will take you to that level now. Daughter, I feel that something profound is happening within you now, a shift in frequency that the world cannot explain, much less control. What you are experiencing at this very moment is not just a passing mood swing, but the awakening to a new divine consciousness. I am adjusting your senses so that you begin to perceive my presence in dimensions that were previously invisible to your weariness. It is as if I am removing a heavy, dusty veil that society has placed over your eyes, allowing you to finally breathe the pure air of freedom that I have won for your spirit. I saw your awakening earlier today. There was a brief second, right after you opened your eyes, when the silence of the room didn't seem empty, but filled with a peace you hadn't felt in years. You lay there motionless, feeling the touch of the sheet and hearing the distant sound of the world beginning to spin outside. And for the first time, you didn't feel that agonizing urge to jump out of bed to solve problems that aren't even yours. It was there, in that sacred moment between sleep and wakefulness, that I began to prepare your spirit to intensely experience freedom. You realized that your mind no longer reacted to the triggers of fear with the same intensity as before. The world trains your consciousness to be reactive. If someone hurts you, you suffer. If the bill arrives, you despair. If your body aches, you become discouraged. But the awakening I give you today places you in a position of control. You are learning to observe your thoughts without letting them enslave you. You are realizing that there is a place within you, an inner sanctuary where I dwell, that remains untouched even when the storm rages outside. This is the level of consciousness where the lies of this age lose their luster, and my truth becomes your only absolute reality. For it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 17, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." Living in this freedom doesn't mean the struggles have disappeared, but that the yoke of mental servitude has been broken. You are no longer obligated to carry guilt that doesn't belong to you or the anxiety that the system tries to impose on you with every notification on your phone. I am recalibrating your soul so that you can walk through this world without being contaminated by it. Feel the lightness that now runs through your shoulders and the clarity that dwells on your forehead. You are awakening to your true identity as a beloved daughter, and this awareness is the ultimate shield against any earthly influence. If you feel that your spirit is finally awakening to this new life with me, leave a like as a silent testimony of your liberation, and subscribe if you want me to continue guiding you to deeper levels of consciousness. Share this journey with that person you know who is still imprisoned by their own thoughts. Tell me, in this new awakening of your soul, what is the feeling of knowing for the first time in a long time, that your mind belongs only to you and to me. Write in the comments your word of spiritual awakening, consciousness. But don't leave yet. We've reached the culminating moment of this conversation. I have saved my final word, the one that will seal everything we have experienced here today, and that will give you the strength necessary to face any noise that tries to return. My beloved daughter, the time of this physical encounter through these words is reaching a moment of divine sealing, but my presence in your mind now becomes an eternal and living record. Remember that I promised you, right at the beginning of this journey, that I would deliver a clear answer and a phrase that would serve as your unshakable shield against all the arrows and despairing noises of this world. You were faithful. You remained here with me while I cleansed your understanding and untied the tightest knots of your soul. And now I fully fulfill what I told you the first instant your eyes touched this message. The key to breaking all earthly influence over you, the whisper that should echo in every thought from now on and in all your dawns, is this absolute truth. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. This is the answer your heart desperately sought amidst the deafening noise of your daily worries. Understand well, my daughter. It is not your own limited strength that will save you from the chaos of this century, but my omnipotent strength working within your surrender and your silence. I want you to make this a milestone of victory today, a declaration that the world has lost control over your peace. Right now, with all your soul, and with the authority of one restored by my voice in the comments of this video, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Let the world and all opposing voices see that you no longer belong to despair, but to the King of Peace. Each letter you write will be like a prophetic seal of protection over your home, your mental health, and the dreams I planted in you even before you were born. I see the divine light shining again in your eyes, and feel calm once more taking complete control of your heart. But know that heaven still has many secrets, directions, and caresses that it wishes to personally deliver to you in your intimacy. Do not stray from my voice, now that we have finally begun to converse with such clarity and depth. If you feel that the thirst for my presence still wishes to be further quenched, I invite you to continue browsing the messages I have saved for you in our playlist on the Divine Love, the Voice of God channel. There, I will continue to speak with you, to heal old wounds that no one sees, and to teach you to fly far above any storm that the world tries to raise against your destiny. Now, go in peace. Walk with the assurance that the influence of this century has been broken upon your lineage, and your mind is now my secret garden, where only my good, perfect, and pleasing will flourishes. I am your constant clarity. I am your secure tomorrow. Rest eternally in me,